What is up, guys? We are back with another video, and today we're checking out this case right here, and it's a case that I've been wanting to get my hands on since I saw it at CES back in January. It's Inwin's A1 Plus, and it's a follow-up to the original A1, and the new upgrades that you're going to get with this case is that the wireless charger or Qi charger up top here has been upgraded from 5 watts to 10 watts. You're now going to get RGB fans, and then finally the power supply has been upgraded to 650 watts, of course, for more power-hungry components. So let's go ahead and take a look. The Inwin A1 Plus is actually one of the smallest Mini-ITX cases that you can get. You can see the official dimensions right here on the screen. Now, we received the white version of the case, but it's also available in black as well. Starting at the front of the case, it is pretty much all plain except for the Inwin logo towards the top. While I do like this sleek look, without front intakes, I wonder what the airflow is going to be like. Moving up to the top of the case, the top panel actually has a glossy finish on it, which looks pretty amazing. There's a small circle in the center which has the Inwin logo on it, and this is the Qi wireless charger, which you can use to charge your mobile device. The original version of the case only had a 5-watt charger, but it has been upgraded to 10 watts now. For those who are wondering, the Qi charger does work even if you have your system powered off. Towards the front right of the case are a few buttons and connections. There is a very large power button, 2 activity LEDs, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and HD audio jacks. The side of the case features a tempered glass panel, which, as you can tell, is tinted. This panel allows you to show off your entire build. It has 2 knobs at the top that when you pull them out, release the panel. This not only makes removing the panel easy, but also makes it so you don't get any fingerprints on it. The opposite side panel is a normal white panel, but it has Inwin's honeycomb ventilation towards the front. This panel is held into place by 2 captive screws, which make it very easy to remove. At the back of the case, we can see that the A1 Plus will support dual slot graphics cards, and there is a rear fan. This is one of the 2 Inwin ASL 120 RGB fans that are included with the case. And then towards the bottom, we have a power connection, which is already pre-connected to the included power supply in the case. If you haven't noticed by now, the case is sitting on sort of a stand with RGB lighting. This stand actually allows for the case to be lifted off the ground so you have proper airflow, and it includes room for 2 120mm fans to be installed. Once inside the case, there's not a whole lot of room, but of course this case has room for a Mini-ITX motherboard and a 2-slot graphics card. We installed a 1660 Ti in the case, no problem, but it supports graphics cards up to 320mm. You also have support for CPU coolers up to 160mm in height, but as you can see, even with the stock AMD cooler, it is a pretty tight fit. Behind a small cover is the included power supply, which is an Inwin 650 watt unit with an 80+ gold rating. It is not modular, but Inwin has definitely cut down the cabling, so you shouldn't have a big cable mess. Towards the front of the case is your second ASL 120 RGB fan. It is set in front of that honeycomb ventilation on the side panel, and it's set up as an exhaust fan. Opening up the other side of the case, we can see how the rest of the case is laid out. While there's not a ton of room, we actually did not have any issues routing or organizing our cables. On the back side of the motherboard tray are 2 SSD mounts. These are removable by a single thumb screw, which is going to make installing your SSDs on them even easier. With the trays removed, we actually have access to the M.2 slot on our motherboard, as well as our CPU backplate. The 2 RGB fans and the RGB strip can be daisy chained together, then either connected to a 3-pin addressable RGB header on your motherboard or the included controller. The included controller has a single button on it which will allow you to cycle through the different effects and colors. Here's what those effects look like. All right, guys, so at the end of the day, I think Inwin has put together a really great Mini-ITX case in their A1 Plus. But I think with any Mini-ITX build, you're gonna have some caveats. It is a very small enclosure, so, you know, you're gonna have issues with certain things fitting and all of that. So let me talk about what I really like about this case, and then we'll get into some of those caveats. First thing, starting up top, we do have the Qi charger. It's just nice to throw my phone on there and be able to charge it, no problem. That's just something I'm always looking for, and I'm always looking to eliminate cables from my setup, so having a wireless charger on my case just makes it so much easier. Secondly, just look at this case. I mean, it is sexy. It is just well done. Inwin has always done a great job of making cases that just, you know, look great. This is gonna look great anywhere you put it. It's just an awesome case. And I do like the RGB fans. These are their new RGB fans, and they're not like crazy in your face RGB. It's just a little ring around, but it's just enough to give this case kind of like that, you know, the little sexy feel that I like. And you of course get the RGB down there. And I really like the side panel design. We saw this on their 301 as well. And it allows you to take the panel off without actually touching the tempered glass at all. So you don't have fingerprints, and I just hate having to clean off the panel. So that just makes it so much easier. And the panels on both sides are super easy to take on and off. Now, talking about the caveats, you know, like I said, with any Mini-ITX build, you're gonna have some issues. One of the biggest ones is that if you forget to connect something, you're gonna have to pull everything back out. I had to do that a couple times with this. I mean, I know that's my fault, but you know, with larger cases, if you forget to connect something, you know, you can always just connect it because you have the room to move around. But once that motherboard's in there, it's hard to get to all the connections. So, you know, you have to connect all of your power, all of your SATA connections, any of your, you know, headers, everything has to be connected to your motherboard before you put it in, because there's pretty much no room to really move around in there. Secondly, while you do get 2 fans included, they both exhaust. So there's no real intake, you know, that's included with this. You do have room at the bottom for 2 fans, but they're not included. So if you wanted proper airflow for this case, you're gonna have to pick up 2 fans. And then the big issue that I had is with the power supply. While you know, it is nice having the power supply, you don't have to worry about finding one that fits or anything like that, is that it only offers 3 SATA power connections. And in our install, we did 2, you know, 2.5-inch SATA drives. So I only have 1 connection left, and I use that for the RGB controller. So if I wanted to add something else to this case that took a SATA power connection, whether it's more lights or something like that, or even a fan controller, I really couldn't. And that's kind of an issue for me. And, you know, like I said, if you're gonna add more fans, you're likely gonna need a fan controller, because I don't know what Mini-ITX case has 4 fan headers, because there's not one, or Mini-ITX motherboard has 4 fan headers. So those are some of the caveats of this case. And like I said, with any Mini-ITX build, you're gonna have some caveats, but I think, you know, I was frustrated when I was doing part of the installation, but once I got through it and I looked at the finished product, which is this awesome build, I'm super happy with it. You know, I can fit long graphics cards. I can build a pretty awesome system in here. You know, we have a Ryzen 7 2700X in here, you know, on our B450i board. I mean, with a 1660 Ti, I mean, it's a great build. And again, you can fit long graphics cards in here, so we could put like a 2070 Super in there if we wanted to. It's a great case, but it just has some caveats and some things you're gonna wanna consider if you're looking to build in this. But it is one of the smallest Mini-ITX cases out there as well. So again, you're gonna have those caveats. If you have any questions about this case, go ahead and leave it in the comments section below. And we'll have links where you can pick this case up, as well as our full written review on ThinkComputers.org. So if you enjoyed this video, we would appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up. And if you enjoy our tech content, go ahead and subscribe. Till next time, catch you guys later.